Hello everyone, just wanted to do a short update here on the layout, and what you're looking at here is the method I use to connect the feeder wires to the bus lines. The bus lines, as I think I've mentioned before, are speaker wire, and the reason I chose speaker wire was its cost. First of all, it's very expensive. It has a gold, or I'll say a copper and a silver lead, so it makes it very easy to determine what track or rail you're soldering. And I've also used suitcase connectors to join the feeder wires, which are the red and white wires, to the bus lines. I've got two bus lines, one for each main, and then obviously the feeders coming down from each main to the appropriate bus for that main. The way I suspended those is ran them through the screw eyes and then used a zip tie once I was sure that I had all of the soldering complete to tighten up the feeders under the layout. So I started back over there. I don't know if you can see it or not, back where all of the DCC stuff is, and started there and just worked my way around the layout, dropping feeders, joining them to the bus lines, and then tightening up the bus lines as I went. The blue wire, which you see right back there, is my RJ45 Cat 5 cable, which is my DCC control supply, and it goes down and feeds, well, I'll show you that when I get down there, but it feeds two panels which are on the side of the layout where I can plug in my DCC controller. So anyway, just kind of give you a look at how these lines are in here. And I made very sure that there's no tension between the feeder wires and the rail. You know, that it's not being pulled tightly by the bus line. So don't have to worry about those pulling loose. You can see there's plenty of slack in those wires. The feeder wires are 18 gauge, and the bus lines are 16. I don't know if I said the bus lines were 18 before, but they're 16. Stranded speaker wire. I know a lot of guys use solid wire. That's fine. I've used stranded on both of my layouts, and it's worked fine for me. So personal preference. Use whatever you want, whatever works for you. Here's, you can see a close-up of the screw eyes with the zip tie holding those in place. Let me see if I can get a better shot of that. But anyhow, it's just looped through the screw eye up and over the feeder wire and then pulled tightly, and then I cut off the end. So I'm going to stop here, I'm going to stand up, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the layout. Alright, so here we are looking at the top of the layout, obviously. I guess you guys can tell that. But so what I've done is I've cleaned it off. I spent this evening vacuuming the top of the layout and also the floor under the layout. Had sawdust and pieces of insulation from the feeder wires and such down in there. So I cleaned all that up and just tried to clear everything off. I will be, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I have to wire the yards. We're looking at the intermodal yard right here. This is obviously the auto rack unloading area. There'll be 3 tracks for it, and you can see those 3 tracks right there, left, center, and right. And each of them will hold 3 auto racks. I have at least 2 more that are already assembled, and I have 2 in kit form. So you know, I can use these over here for unloading as well. Originally, the reason I put these in on the right side was for storage of intermodal cars, which I think I'm going to need. So you know, obviously once you know, when they're running on trains, you know, both of these or all of these yard unloading tracks won't be full. But anyhow, so as far as electrical goes, as I said, I've wired for DCC everywhere. I've tested the layout the whole way around, which I think if you saw the last video, you saw me testing that. I had a couple of sections that I had to fix, one of which being over here in the corner, and I still haven't put all of the ties in yet. But this outside section of track here had a kink in it. I had a joint right here, and I wasn't careful apparently when putting that in, and I had a kink in it. So I replaced that section, actually cut it out from here to here, and laid in a new section of track. I used the method this time when I put it in of soldering the two rails and then bending the curve and then cutting off and soldering in the other two rails at the other end. So that seemed to work a little better. Let's see what else. You can see there's an example of a feeder soldered onto the side of the track. You know, this one's probably not the best example, but what I do is I bring the feeder up through the cork, and I bend a 90-degree angle in the feeder wire, and then also about a 45-degree angle away from us right now. I don't know if we can put this up on the top or not, but you can see the wire curving towards the rail. What that allows me to do is just take an alligator clip, and before soldering of course, and clip it on there and then solder the wire onto the rail. So glad I looked at that one, because that's one I'm going to have to redo. Let me see if I have one that may be a little bit better. Okay, not really sure what happened there, but there should be plenty of clearance. You can see it runs the whole way down the table. Hopefully there's enough light in here for this camera. So, and then once it hits that one spot there by that curve that's on the right, it angles back to the right. So let's go down there and take a look at that. Again, sorry for the movement. So you can see where it runs down through here, at least that's where it's supposed to go. So it'll cut right across that cork. I may have to do something here. Either let the divider run straighter for a little bit longer, and then take an angle over there, and you can see it goes down towards the end of the table and stops. So that's where that's going to go. Now that I have all of the all the layout cleared off, I have some decisions to make on what's going to go where regarding industries and such. You can see down there, you know, I had that turnout coming off the one on the right with that temporary cork just laid in there, because you know, I wanted to have a siding or something come back this direction. So it's a very long lead, and I was thinking about possibly putting a single track off of that turnout coming back into another turnout, which would split into two tracks, and then down at this end come back into another turnout, come into a single track, and have enough room in there for a locomotive or two, so that you could pull in, you could actually pull a train in to this area, possibly having you know, several little businesses here that are rail served. And that would be to the left of the divider, obviously. And then have enough track down here at the end where you could pull a train in, you could unhook the locomotives, and then you could go back, or you could run around all of the trains and cars that you had spotted to get back out. So originally, down in this area, I was thinking about putting a farm scene, but I may not do that. I may decide to put that somewhere else. Where? I don't know. But, you know, that'll come along as I start to place industries. I do have a lot of rail-served businesses that I could put in here, and I think putting them all along one track, you know, having the backdrop behind them, you could put, you know, flats in there up against the backdrop, make it look like an industrial area and so forth. So I may do that. I've also got the option of, you know, putting them over here where I have this siding, that was supposed to be the area where the passenger station was going to go, right on the corner here, right there. So I think I'm still going to go with that, and maybe, you know, put the town back in that area where it was originally planned. But at least now what I've got is plenty of real estate to fool with. Again, I'm out of rail joiners and I'm out of track, so I can't really continue with any of those additional sidings and such. So I'm kind of at a standstill until I can buy some more of that. But I don't want this to drag on too long. But anyway, I just wanted to give you an update. Let me show you the plan, if it'll stand up here. We can zoom in on that and maybe compare the plan to what I've actually done. You can see the area on the plan, which is this area right here. This would be, obviously this is the peninsula end, so the area to the left of the divider, I'm standing right here now. So this area in here was originally supposed to be fairly well populated with industries and such. What I've done is, instead of running the main lines down along the edge, you can see that I decided to move them in a bit, and it gives me area on the left side of the mains in there, and all the way down to the end where the lumberyard is supposed to go, for additional scenic area. There were supposed to be a lot more yard leads and such in here. Actually, another yard which I've decided to take out, and probably, you know, I was just talking about having the siding with the runaround track on it in that area. The intermodal side of the yard, which is here, I've talked about the changes I've made there. I may have to kind of change the shape of the divider a bit, you know, maybe run it straight and then angle it a little bit and then angle it a little more to come down through there. You can see there is kind of a double bend in it here in the plan. Don't know if that's showing up very well. But you know, this area here, which is way down at the end, is supposed to be a lumber yard. So anyway, you can see I've taken a little bit of license with the plan. You know, made some changes here and there, but you know, it's all about how I wanted to run things. But I guess that's it for tonight. Just wanted to give you an update on things and tell you where I was. So the next steps that I'll be doing, I did talk earlier about replacing some track. Again, I've got to wire the yards, and I've got to put ties in where the joints are in the track and get that all in. So once all the wiring is done and all the the ties are in at the joints, I'll be able to go ahead and paint the track. And once the track's painted, then we can start scenery. So a few things left to do yet. But one thing I wanted to show you here, over here in the near the sanding facility, I have my, see if I can focus in on that, sorry. Got a little too close. This is my coupler height gauge that I have in here. It's permanently attached, and you can see, I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in. Hopefully it'll stay in focus. I've got about a 1/8 of an inch gap in the rail there. So, you know, the rail's glued down. I just cut a gap in it when I attach the coupler height gauge here. So this track here is going to be set for a program track, and also with a double pole double throw switch. When I throw the switch the other way, it becomes part of the layout. So it does give me a fairly long siding that I can store engines on. Again, the fueling and sanding facilities are in. I don't have these pieces between the rails are not glued in yet. They're just sitting there right now, but you can see it's going to look pretty good once it's done. The engine house, two-stall engine house, is going to fit down here. I don't think I'm going to leave those long extensions in there. I just had a few pieces of, you know, odds and ends of track, so I kind of put them together. But I think I'm going to make the engine house track stop about here, and then I'll have room for parking lot, maintenance away vehicles and so forth in that area. So, all right, I'm going to call it a wrap for tonight. So again, appreciate all the subscriptions, all the questions, all the comments. And if you do have questions, if you've been watching the, sorry about that, if you've been watching the layout series for quite some time, and you have questions about it, questions about how I do things, feel free to ask. I mean, there's no such thing as a dumb question. I may give dumb answers every now and then, but please feel free to ask questions, and message me if you want to. If you got something you want to ask, please feel free. So again, thanks for everything. Thanks for the support from all you guys for all this time. I think we're getting close to running some trains more frequently now. Thanks for watching.